Test 1, 2. Okay. Alright, well, thanks for tuning in, everybody. How we doing? We are not too long ago. Watching a lot of these kind of scuddy features here very closely. Starting to lose some of the contrast because of this kind of poor lighting with the sunshine right here. So needless to say, it's kind of an interesting looking little storm we got going on right here. Real quick, you can kind of make out the radar view there. We do have this tornado warning. We got this kind of hook feature right over there. That's where we're watching from, like over here. So we are looking kind of west, northwest towards the storm right now, and we're getting some really bad contrast because the sun's starting to peek out here. But that's the storm that we're watching right now. No current tornado warning, however it was tornado warning not too long ago. Watching it very, very closely. Very scuddy bottom to the storm here. The National Weather Service also watching it very closely. It's very difficult to make out exactly what we're looking. Need to put some sunglasses on to try and see what's going on here. It looks like so what we're most interested in, I think, is starting to see this feature right here. That seems to be the new area of interest there. I just need some clouds to block the sun. I think that might... boy, that's pretty interesting there, isn't it? That may potentially be a tornado right there, friends. It's a little difficult to make out. Boy, that was mighty interesting, wasn't it? I got very, very low to the ground there. Boy, that was interesting. That was a very interesting feature. We might have a tornado on the ground right there, friends. We're a little far away, but there's definitely some rotating scud. It's very low. Oh gosh, the contrast with the sunshine is very problematic. But there is certainly some funny business going on right there. Looks like if there was something, it may have just lifted. And just like that, it's starting to kind of look a little less exciting again. Looks like it's starting to kind of weaken. Still watching this area pretty closely. It looks a little less organized than it did. About 5 minutes ago, it was very pronounced. It doesn't look like it's as organized. Let me zoom out real quick, kind of show you the overall structure, though. Kind of a impressive little storm here for soggy Florida. Punch back in here. Area of interest looks like it's about here still. It's very scuddy. Might be trying to hand off this area of interest to maybe up here. That would kind of follow high precipitation supercell structure. I don't know yet. Let me zoom out, get both these areas in here. It's a little messy in here. In Florida now. I am a Florida man. Gosh, that was very scuddy background here now. Let's see. It's definitely getting kind of more disorganized again in here. I think it might be trying to hand off potentially more in this area. It's kind of a mess of a storm right now. I haven't looked at radar in a minute. Yeah, radar is a little bit more ugly too. It's It's really not even going anywhere. It's like about 5:30. It got pretty interesting, and then it kind of went poof. I think I might get a bit closer. I think I'm going to push up to the Indian River since this thing is not really moving too fast. Very scuddy, low-hanging scud in there. It might be trying to get tighter kind of in this area again. I don't see anything that looks real definitive yet. Although right in there it is starting to get maybe a little bit more organized in there. You can see the movement of the scud kind of going right to left, kind of getting pulled into this area right there. I think this is kind of the new area of interest. Now that's starting to lose itself a little bit too. I concur with it cycling north. I don't know if you have audio on, but I concur, Tony, with you thinking that it's cycling north. That's kind of what my thinking was too with the handoff. Alright, we're going to go up a bit, so we're going to lose a tight shot here for a minute. I'm going to go up to the next kind of water view area, get a little bit closer. For those familiar with the area, I am on the I gotta fix these windows. Head to the Indian River as opposed to where I'm at now, which we're just gonna get off here. So we're gonna go back east. I wish traffic would let me get in. I don't think I'm gonna be able to though, very easily. See, if this truck got over, I would have been able to get in very easily, but he doesn't seem to want to. Alright, we are gonna pop in here. Got some elevation here. Kind of see clearly. So we're going to be driving over Merritt Island. Radar does look like it is trying to get its act together again, so we'll see. This thing has really stalled out. It was kind of moving east. That's kind of why I parked back there, but it's really kind of stopped moving pretty good here. Probably about 20 minutes ago, we had a That was very suspicious there for a minute. Pretty tight area. Circulation, probably around 5:30, 5:35, I think is what it was time-wise. Obviously a big low-hanging something back there. Didn't look like anything was still on the ground or anything like that. We are going to continue up to the waterway here. Get a nice little pull off to the northwest for a good view. Come on, traffic. I'm getting over to the right. Come on. Come on, traffic. I don't know why you're still in the right lane. Come in. Come in. I'm clearly letting you in. There you go. We did it. Very proud of you. Alright, we'll have some pull-offs here looking over the water. Like right up here. Take a little peek right here. Yeah, it certainly doesn't look as good as it did a bit ago. But we're certainly much closer here. And again, this is a storm that is just north of Cocoa, Florida. This thing is just kind of crawling. I mean, it might... So it has got some very slight movement, because I do have to move the camera a little bit more to the right. So it looks like it's very, very slowly drifting. And I think drifting is a very good word for it. To like the north, maybe east-northeast. It's very hard to tell. You can start seeing this area starting to look like it's trying to maybe... a wider view here. Might be trying to get a little more interesting here on the... see some more lower hanging scud there. This would kind of hard to tell at this point. It's got to be pretty close to the shoreline. Probably right near Port St. John area. Might even, I don't know, this is starting to get all sorts of weird structure here, because that looks pretty interesting there, but then off to the north is kind of this area of interest too. That kind of fits a little bit better of radar, where radar looks the most interesting. Because this would actually be like over the Banana River, or excuse me, Indian River, over the Indian River. It's still just pretty scuddy, you know, it's still nothing very super riveting here. Catching it up on some chat. Brooks. Hi, Nick. You chasing or on vacation? Both. I'm chasing, but not on vacation. I actually live here now. I live in the state of Florida now. I left Iowa back in early August. Stationed with the Coast Guard at Port Canaveral, 97-99. It's a great place. It's an absolutely great place. I love coming here. Loved coming here so much, I decided to make a career out of it. Do a nice wide shot of the whole storm. Yeah, I mean, nothing super looks tight anymore. The left side still looks kind of interesting. The right side looks like it might be trying to develop more, but doesn't look that tight either. And again, no active warnings with this. We do have a special weather statement, but no active warnings with this thing. Kind of just looking elsewhere across the region. This is probably the most interesting looking storm right now, especially here in central Florida. Back in on here. This kind of seems to be the new air that's taken over. It looks like it's kind of handing off again. So this would be firmly over the Indian River then. This does seem to be kind of the new area of interest. I think this is definitely what's taken over. And so this is getting ready to cross over into Merritt Island. I mean, this thing continues to just crawl. kind of keeps doing this. You know, it got kind of good looking, and now it's starting to kind of look a little more weak. Kind of keeps pulsing a little bit. Here's again a wider view of the whole storm. You know, we had kind of this area of interest that looked the best, and they kind of handed it off up here, and so that's kind of looks like we're looking kind of over there now for the area of interest. If I can just get this into focus, there we go. And I'm going to start losing kind of a good visual because it's going into an area that's not so good. Really starting to kind of lose its impressive look. It's trying to do some funny business up there. Yeah, like I said, I'm starting to lose kind of a good view here. We're starting to get just south of it, and once you start getting south though, you're going to start losing kind of the better views. So while I keep kind of staring at this thing, let me figure out the next plan here. Because right now there's not much else. Yeah, I think pretty much straight north of me is the best looking thing. That's kind of what we're looking at here, but our vantage point's not the best at this angle. There's really no easy way to get where this thing is going, as it's going right over Kennedy Space Center and the Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. You know, then we get these little fingers that start coming down again. So this will be just north of me here. So we're looking straight north from 528. Yeah, that got pretty interesting there for a second. That would match up pretty well with what on radar looks kind of be the most interesting area. There's still kind of a, you know, weak hook echo on radar. Rotation is not the most exciting thing to look at on radar right now. Just like that, poof, starting to weaken again. Had a quick little burst and it kind of got meh again. Yeah, that was the best shot, but I don't think I'm going to see much more here. Let me kind of zoom out again and kind of see the overall storm structure here. Okay, we're now starting to get kind of behind it, so our views are going to be more obstructed and at a poorer view angle. You really want to be kind of east and southeast of it. Sitting south-southwest is not ideal. So it kind of continues to kind of spin a little bit. Alright, well, let's figure out the next plan here. I don't know if there is one yet. I mean, clearly the area of interest, if there is one still, is kind of this big mass that I no longer can really see much of anything. I don't know what this is over here, but this has got some kind of quick movement to it. This is like behind the hook though, so like that doesn't seem like that would be doing much. Yeah, the main excitement part of the storm is over here. It's kind of in no man's land because there's no real good way to view it. I could double back to the Banana River. That might be the best play here. Just since this thing is just crawling. A little fish just jumped out in front of me. That was cute. And in order to get, the problem is in order to get back east, I have to go basically west. It's really a pain. Now actually I could take this all the way down and go underneath. Let's actually do that. Alright, let's give this a shot, shall we? Go on a little adventure. We're gonna go. I think I can do this in like not like rip the bottom of my car off. Let's take a little peek. We're gonna try and go underneath the double bridges here, which I'm pretty sure I can do. I think I've done it before. Meanwhile, back in Iowa, a severe thunderstorm warning is just finishing for Cedar Rapids, it looks like. That's exciting. It's all hail up there. Yeah, this would be like rough to get stuck in. Is to go underneath these bridges, which I'm like pretty sure I can do. Otherwise I can just go up a mile. That might have actually been easier and flip around. Starting to regret trying to do this. Worse than any Colorado road I've driven on. Oklahoma in the plains. The problem is I don't know if the other side's any better or not, but I guess we'll find out. Oh, big pothole there. Be with me. Okay. Whew. Alright, let's see. I think I can go underneath these bridges. Like it. Some guy clearly tried to drive through that and got stuck, so that's unfortunate. Look out, birds coming through. Well, I'm still kind of doing its thing up there. I'm pretty sure like we're right along the warm front right about here, and that's probably why this storm kind of kept doing what it was doing. And it clearly has some momentum now. We're elevated. I think that's what happened there. Oh gosh, pavement. What a treat. Okay. Woo! Let me trying to figure out what the heck I'm doing here. There's really nothing else. So you know what, we're just gonna go back. We have to go west to go east. So we'll go west to get to the other side of this river, and then we'll jump back east to see this storm over. So bear with me, friends. A good view of my back right window, and it's still just a big lowering. is there's really no way to get ahead of this thing anymore, as it's kind of firmly over the Space Force Station. And I cannot take you there live. Get back in 528, and we'll go kind of close to Port Canaveral. Don't hit your brakes, dude. You got this. You got it, man. So the storm will now be just off to my northwest here. Very grungy. It's pretty far away at this point too, which is, you know, less than ideal. Sorry. Certainly doesn't look that exciting at the moment. It heads right towards all of the launch pads along the Florida Space Coast. A decent view here in a moment. Yeah, I mean, it still looks fine. You know, it's whatever. Still, it's really the only show in town. There's really not much else in the region that's worth looking at. Still just buried back in there. Let me just point you forward for a second, and then we'll flip back around here in a minute. So we'll get you a decent view back north here momentarily. Back up to the Banana River. Usually to view rocket launches. If you're looking for a good free place to look at rockets, go to space. This is a pretty good spot. You're a little far from the launch. It's not an exciting launch, but it was a trail, like a streak shot, I guess is the technical word. We are back with a view. This kind of remains the only show in town right now. There's not much else. Pop up by the Orlando area. Meanwhile, Cedar Rapids is just getting dunked on by hail, eastern Iowa. Like right in there. trying to get a little more centrally located there. Like I said, I mean, there's really not else to look at right now. Doesn't look like much. Northwest Florida, I mean, yeah, technically you're dealing with the same system. There's kind of an air of disturbed weather kind of coming through the Gulf. Not quite tropical, depression or storm strength, but a little tropical low kind of coming on in, bringing with a fire hose of water. So, yeah, they're about to get a lot of rain up there, down here, too. The severe weather threat is a little bit more confined to generally areas along and north of I-4 and then to the south of I-4 as well, down to almost I-75, kind of where it cuts east-west from Miami. I know it's Miami, I like saying Miami though. Miami to Cape Coral. So now we're left trying to figure out the next play here. What would that be is the question. I mean, the parameters for severe weather aren't bad, really. So you can just get the right storm to kind of get going. Yeah, but this is basically water spout chasing. This in particular, as it's kind of going over the Banana River. Yeah, I think what happened is this thing passed over kind of like a pseudo warm front that's kind of draped over the area. Let me look at some I don't know if I can get this to work or not. Let's see. Give me one moment. Perfect. Real quick, kind of what we're looking at here is there's kind of this warm front that's kind of stalled out, kind of right across central Florida. It goes from like where we are here on the Florida Space Coast, kind of straight east to north of the Tampa area. You can kind of see where these contours are kicked out. That's kind of where your warm front is, roughly. I think what happened with this particular cell is that it was kind of riding along the warm front. It stalled out essentially, and now it's accelerating again. I think it kind of was lashed on that warm front and then started drifting north of the warm front. It's beginning to get a bit more elevated. I think that's what's happening with this storm here. I'll look at the severe weather parameters, like your supercell composite. Nothing goes off the charts here as we go through the next several hours, but there's kind of enough to warrant, some looks. And when you look at like the low-level spin, that storm relative helicity, the low-level rotation, you can kind of see that it does kind of maximize right along that warm front here over the next several hours. And so I think what we might do here, I'm still debating. I'm thinking what we might do here is go back east over towards Orlando and look for some of those cells start popping up either near Orlando or off to the west towards the Tampa area. I think that might be the play here over the next few hours. As you can clearly see, this storm is kind of done. It's not looking that exciting. There's really nothing super exciting anywhere in the state of Florida right now that really has my interest. Quick look at the radar view. Let me just get rid of velocity. That's kind of useless right now. We are watching this little cell right here just north of Cape Canaveral. We're situated kind of right about here, and we're looking straight north at this thing. And again, it's not the most exciting thing we're looking at right now. We kind of look around the area. I am kind of watching some of these cells pop up kind of in central Florida. We have this warm front that's kind of, I think, stalled out right about here. I think this is roughly where the warm front is, and so I want to be targeting any cells kind of down in this area. I think that's what we're going to start watching. So I'm looking at already like this cell right here. It's not really the most rambunctious looking storm already, but it kind of has, that look already, that kind of little kidney bean thing going on. All of these cells kind of south of Orlando are kind of interesting looking, so I think what we might do is head towards Orlando. Bare minimum, I think I'm going to grab Portillo's for dinner. If you haven't had Portillo's, it's a beautiful thing. Otherwise, we'll see what happens. We can kind of see like this little inflow tail. I'm pretty sure this is kind of like an inflow feeder tail kind of into the storm. Like, this thing really did get kind of a good look to it there for a while. That middle thing you're looking at, the screen, I can zoom back on them, but power lines. I can kind of see one right there, another one over here, another one over here. That's high tension power lines going across the river. Okay, let's meander. Alright, let's watch some of these cells by Orlando. Now let me set Orlando food destination in my phone here. We do have a few rocket launches coming up here in the short term. Florida Space Coast remains very busy. Ugh. Oh my gosh, there's nobody coming. I should get on. Wow, this is weird. Wow. Wild. Several rocket launches on the agenda in Florida these days. A lot going on here in the short term. Falcon Heavy, of course, is the big one. Currently scheduled for tomorrow, Thursday, October 12th. Weather looks pretty problematic. space flight now. They're pushing the Falcon Heavy Psyche launch to Friday, 10:19 a.m. So Falcon Heavy, 10:19 in the morning. Riveting. I have yet to see a Falcon Heavy launch, actually. Irony would have it, every time I've tried to view a Falcon Heavy launch, something has gotten in my way. So I have not yet seen one. A Dominator for water. You know, it's funny, I believe Reed joked about that at some point in the recent past. So we are gonna, like I said, head to Orlando, and we're gonna see kind of what pops up in Central Florida in that area. This storm that we were on might have been the best attempt we will have today, but we will see. We do have that risk of tornadoes from the Storm Prediction Center. There are no formal watches or warnings currently in place. Busy morning weather-wise. Storms, rain, kind of breezy too. It's gonna be kind of an ugly day tomorrow, really. And the Falcon Heavy is actually launching a NASA mission, Psyche. It goes to an asteroid. It's kind of neat. It's really cool mission. But they also have a very narrow window that they can't launch, like any day of the week. They have, I guess of the year, they have kind of a narrow window of about 20-ish days, I believe. So they have to launch it inside of that window. So I believe the window closes, if I read correctly, I think it's October 25th. So, that's kind of nerve-wracking when you have all this weather going on, because the time is clicking. If you don't get it out of here by October 25th, I think you have to wait like a full year. So that's kind of one of those fun ones that are kind of, nerve-wracking a bit. Gotta hope everything goes right with that one. Underneath that bridge. So, if anything, we did learn a valuable lesson today. We have that going for us. far, I've been living in Florida now for a little over 2 months. It's a lot different than Iowa, let me tell you. But it's been a lot of fun. I really like it. It's a very different life. Like, there are days that, like, I will get off of work and then I'll just go to the beach because I can. And I do that a decent amount. It's just very different. The weather, obviously, very hot, very humid in the summertime. I did move down here in like the hottest week of the year. Like, it was just awful. Like that first week of August was just brutal. I use radar scope. I prefer radar scope for my radar. I've used Radar Omega. It's fine. I don't hate it. I think it does a good job at what it is. I do like surface observations and all of that. I think that is sorely missing on radar scope. I really do hope they figure that out eventually. But now that radar scope has added the other abilities like what am I thinking of? Satellite imagery. That was kind of super neat. I've not really had a chance to really use it yet in an active situation, but I really do like the different radar scope additions. I don't know what highways and hailstones is. Yeah, radar scope for me is the way to go. On my laptop, I'll use what am I thinking of? Like GR, Gibson Ridge software. I'll use like GR 2 and 3. Depending on the situation. I do like those a lot as well. The thing I like about like radar scope is that it's very simple. It's a simple app. It doesn't require a ton of data. It's not very data intensive. Thanks again, everybody, for tuning in. I appreciate y'all. If you haven't already, if you're enjoying the stream, granted not much is happening now, feel free to give the video a like. Feel free to subscribe. Once we get going here more into deeper into autumn and into winter, Florida will wake up with severe weather. That tends to be our severe weather season here, and especially with an El Nino winter, that should be pretty favorable for severe weather here in Florida. So that tends to be good for us. I guess this car, somebody wants to go faster now. Cool. That's fine. So if you're just popping in, welcome everybody. The plan right now is to kind of meander towards Orlando. Kind of watching a few storms popping up around the Orlando area. We're going to see if any of these kind of really get going and organized. I'm also going to grab dinner because I've not had dinner yet. So we will do that. And we will go from there. we left earlier, as it continues to kind of cross over Cape Canaveral Space Force Station, still looks pretty decent, but it's just in the middle of no man's land now. There's really no way to get there. I work on base, but obviously I can't stream it to y'all. That would be bad. That would be a big no-no. I've driven this highway already. Too dang high. To watch some storms kind of just percolating. None of them look particularly exciting at this juncture. I wonder if we'll get a bright line train coming on in. You got quite a few of those trains out running. Brightline to do high-speed rail that goes between Orlando and Miami. Pretty awesome. Big fan of. I have not taken it yet. I really want to. I don't know when I will. Decent possibility the first time I'll take it is when Clemson will play Miami in Miami. It'll be in not this upcoming weekend, but the one after that. That might be my first time going to Miami. So I've not been yet. Experimenting with a few different live stream things. Today we are using a new thing. We are using Restream, which I have not used before, because I'm also simulcasting on let me think here. Simulcasting on X, formerly known as Twitter, as well as Facebook, and here on YouTube. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big name chaser yet. Maybe someday, right? But no, I'm just here to have a good time. So I don't have a giant chat that's freaking out. I think I've had a few good live streams with some higher viewership, like around 400 to 500 concurrent viewers. But even then it wasn't too bad. I don't know. I don't like mods. I don't want to have somebody having to moderate my own stuff, unless I'm paying them. And I definitely don't make enough on YouTube to pay somebody. This is like a side hobby more than anything. I have the super chats on and all that kind of stuff. If people are feeling generous, but I in no way expect it, and it's no way going to pay for what I do. It will help subsidize some of the cost of fuel and all that kind of stuff, but more so, I'm paying more doing this than I'm getting back, is my point. This is just a way for me to kind of enjoy doing what I do and share what I do with other people. And, have some fun. I like streaming. I used to be on TV. I used to be a TV meteorologist. So this is what I do. And, if we got into a situation where we got tornadoes and stuff going off, I'll happily let local TV meteorologists use my stream for their TV stuff, their live channels and all that, to help get the word out on severe weather. But, it's a way to help subsidize some of the cost of what I do, but, I'm going to do this anyway. I'm not doing this for a career, if that makes sense. Yeah, hope we're all having a good evening. We're going to see how things develop over the next few hours. The strongest storm continues to kind of be that one over the Kennedy Space Center right now. Nothing else looks particularly riveting at the moment. Chasing in Florida, pretty difficult, as you could probably imagine. The road networks are pretty rough. There's a lot of trees. The nice thing about where I live, over on the Atlantic side, over by Cocoa Beach and Cape Canaveral, is that there are big flat areas to look at stuff, kind of like what we were doing earlier, because you have those big waterways. So if you got a nice storm coming in, looking over the Indian River or the Banana River, you got a good view, which is nice. But if there was going to be a tornado in this area where I'm driving right now, and say it was going to cross this highway to my north, in order to really view it, it would be pretty much impossible. The road network out here is non-existent. We're just in the middle of wildlife refuge, which is great, obviously. Protect the animals, we want to keep the environments and all that, but it does make chasing quite a bit of a challenge. And the only real area with a better road network is Orlando, in this region. But chasing in Orlando is a nightmare. almost as bad as it was driving in like Chicago, like chasing in Chicago. Granted, I was also doing it kind of like early-ish evening, not quite rush hour. Hey, it's a bright line train going by on the left side. I hope people take that train. I hope that thing is successful. I really hope it encourages and spurs more train traffic. Trains are a beautiful thing. I love trains. When I was in college, and then at my first job in Quincy, Illinois, I went to college in Macomb, Illinois. There was an Amtrak service that went from Quincy to Macomb and then inevitably up to Chicago. And I loved that. I loved taking the train. Going home to see my parents or going home for like different parties and stuff with like friends and family in Chicago. Oh, I loved it. And it was a 4-hour drive. It was like a 3.5-hour train ride. So it's not like it saved time, but you didn't have to drive. You got to sleep. You got to work on stuff. You got to just sit and enjoy the trip. I loved traveling by train. When I moved to Iowa, there was no longer that train ride that I would take, so I had to drive from Iowa to Chicago, and it was such a pain. Really disliked it. It's just a long, boring drive, basically straight down I-80. So, I mean, it was kind of rough. I would always volunteer to do it, though, like to see my parents. Like, always see your parents, while they're around. So, always gonna go to my parents. Now it's a much harder thing to do. I would just have to fly. Orlando to Chicago, which in itself isn't too bad because honestly, the flight is only like 2 hours, like a little over 2 hours. It's a pretty easy flight. And if you have TSA pre-check, I mean, you just pop in the airport and you're good to go. Like, you don't have to do much. So, like, honestly, total travel time for me to get from here to Chicago to visit my family is about the same. I mean, the travel time is really no different as opposed to, having to drive across the state of Iowa. It's kind of comical. Maybe a little bit longer, just when you factor in, like, getting into the airport a little bit earlier. Like, I'm still not the type of person that can show up to the airport, like, shortly before my flight. I still want to make sure, like, I have to, like, make sure I can see the gate so that it doesn't disappear. I'm one of those weird people. It's not bad. And the nice thing is, too, if I do have to go to travel somewhere, flying out of Orlando is so much easier than flying out of like Cedar Rapids. And I don't mean by like convenience, because like flying out of Orlando is actually the worst. Traffic is so bad, parking is a nightmare, there's so many more people, but flights are so much cheaper. I get Southwest flights out of Orlando to almost anywhere in the country. And if you do it, more than like a month in advance, like the tickets are quite reasonable. That was always the downside of living in Cedar Rapids, is getting flights was always a problem. They're so expensive. And that's like, any small airport. I chase right now, and it's a Dodge Journey. It's like a crossover Dodge Journey. They don't make these cars anymore. Which is really sad because I absolutely love this car. If I had my way, I would just get another Dodge Journey when this thing is done. Really, really love this car. There are 2 chats open right now, Bill. I'm monitoring 2 chats right now. But you guys on the YouTube, you're the real MVPs. Did I shut down the Twitter feed? I think I'm actually going to shut down Twitter while we're kind of in the middle of no man's land. Very excited to get an oil change tomorrow. That is on my agenda tomorrow because I have been putting that off for so long. I've been a meteorologist officially since 2015. I started in TV when I graduated with a degree in meteorology from Western Illinois University in December of 2015. My first job was December 2015. So since then, I worked on the TV side of things from 2015 through this year, so 2023. And then I left the world of TV in July, and I am now a meteorologist at the Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. So I do forecasting for rocket launches from Kennedy Space Center and Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. So still very much doing weather. Yes, I was here during the recent hurricane. In fact, I was live streaming it here on this channel. If you're very interested, you can look back previous live streams. I did stream Adalia. I was by the St. Pete area, Tampa St. Pete. I did not go up to the main thrust of the storm up at the Great Bend. Big Bend? Is it Big Bend or Great Bend? I think it's Great Bend, right? Great Bend of Florida. But yeah, that was where it made landfall and was of highest intensity. But I did not go up there. I stayed farther south. That was my first hurricane, actually. My first hurricane intercept. So I didn't really want to get too feisty. I didn't want to get too involved with it. I didn't want to push my luck because I'm very inexperienced with tropical weather. Specialties are severe weather and winter weather. Those tended to be kind of my areas of expertise back in Iowa. So like forecasting winter storms and severe weather, those were kind of my two main things. Severe weather especially. I've been storm chasing since 2011. I've seen a lot of tornadoes over the years. I got several tornadoes live on TV. That was kind of always a goal of mine of why I wanted to be in TV. Was I had a mission to live stream a tornado from birth to death on TV, warn the public, and so I accomplished that feat for the first time in earnest. So like the true first time, where it's a true success, visible tornado, good stuff. That was the Johnson County, Iowa tornado back in May of 2019. I believe it was May 24th, 2019. But if you're interested in that, I do have that whole YouTube video here on the channel. I have that YouTube video, also the full coverage, all of that's on here if you're interested. We actually won an Emmy for that. I won an Emmy as a storm chaser, which was kind of an awesome moment. That was actually my second Emmy, but first one as a storm chaser. So that was one of my prouder moments of my career. I didn't do TV for a long time, about 8 years, but we certainly did a lot. We had a lot happen in those 8 years. Covered some big tornadoes, some big winter storms, floods, droughts. A lot of good severe weather stories, some bad severe weather stories. Damage, fatalities. The derecho obviously was a career moment. That was an unbelievable event. I have more videos of that here on the channel as well if you're interested in that. Hurricane season is really running out. There's not a lot of time left. The ocean waters remain quite warm, but we're starting to go into that true El Nino winter, and that's what we're experiencing right now. So you got stronger upper level winds. Those will just rip apart any hurricanes. We're really getting to the point where it's very difficult to get a landfalling hurricane in the U.S. It's certainly not impossible. But the way the weather patterns are starting to change into later autumn and starting to see kind of that, El Nino-esque pattern across Florida, it gets very difficult for that. Big Ben, thank you. I couldn't remember. Big Ben, thank you. Yeah, storm surge, I don't want to mess with. I really don't want to mess with storm surge. That's one of those things that are just absolutely terrifying to me. And, I don't have the experience to, properly handle that, but we know what to do, what not to do, how to stay safe. So that was why I stayed away from the chaos this time. I do feel a little more confident now that I've done it. I've had experience in a hurricane now. I kind of have a better idea of where to go, keeping escape routes open, stuff like that. That was all very new to me. Do you have first aid kits and supplies in case you have to do first? Yeah, I have like a very basic first aid kit. I also am CPR trained in that event. But I don't have like the big first aid kits, like search and rescue kind of kits. I feel like I would do more harm than good in like a true mass casualty incident. Thankfully, I've never been in a situation where I had to do like first aid on people. I have done search and rescue before. Back in also 2019, there's an EF4 tornado that went into the Kansas City metro area. That was, I think, Linwood, I believe is what it was. We came up on it was like a nursery, like a plant nursery, not like a children's nursery, but like a plant store, that kind of nursery. We came up on one of those, and the whole place was like completely flattened. And we were told that there were 2 workers still in the rubble somewhere. And first responders were not really present yet. And so that was a situation where we did run around trying to find people. We were kind of digging through rubble, trying to find people. Thankfully, they were uninjured. They were found. I believe they actually left. Their cars were still there, but they actually left the premises for severe weather precautions. So they actually did the right thing. They left what was a very unsafe structure to go somewhere safer, which is pretty cool. Thankfully, no injuries with them. No lights, no special lights. I think light bars and that kind of stuff are way more of a distraction than of any help whatsoever. People can do what they want. I respect it, but gosh, I've been chasing enough where you drive by these cars that have these blinding lights. They do way more harm than good, in my opinion. Again, I'm not going to tell people they can't do it. I don't care. It's your car. You do you. But I do think it is a little unsafe. Especially like the egregiously bright ones. Like I get, some lights, some ambers to kind of maybe just make you a little bit more noticeable on the side, but some people have some egregiously bright lights. Rolling Fork, a lot of chickens running around. It must have been like some farm got hit. I believe it. I mean, I've seen it before, where cattle get loose. We had a tornado. I'm trying to remember if this was the Canadian Texas Day back in 2015. I don't remember what day it was, but there's a tornado that destroyed a fence, and then a bunch of cattle were just kind of wandering, having a good time. So I can see how chickens can get out. They seem a lot they probably live in less sturdy structures than, Again, if you're just popping in, wondering what the heck is going on, hi everybody. My name is Nick. We are kind of just checking in on some severe weather as it kind of develops this evening. Right now, there are no real active, significant threats. Watching this cell kind of popping up south of Orlando. Gonna kind of see what it wants to do here. Oh, I have that loop set way too long. I got a 50 loop on my phone right now for radar scope. No, thank you. Turn that down to like 8 frames. Continue to watch this little cell that's popping up south of Orlando, see what that wants to do. There's another much stronger cell way down south. That actually is shooting out lightning. That might be too far south for me. Although with that said, I can get to it relatively easily on this interstate. chillos, you are missing out on the best. The best food. Chicago style shenanigans. Say it wants me to get off the highway, huh? Alright, we can do that. It's like really nagging light rain. Very annoying, let me tell you. International Drive is like tourist central in Orlando. That's what we're getting off on right here. These are like all of the hotels in the world. They're like right here. I covered Iowa and Iowa State when they were in their respective bowl games. They were basically like 2 days apart from each other, both here in Orlando, playing different teams, obviously. And that was awesome. So we came to Orlando to cover them. So I did live weather from Orlando while there's a winter storm up in Iowa. Did a few random stories down here as well. I thought that was really fun. And not a lot of instability tonight, so not going to get a lot of zappy boys in your words. Love that term, by the way. Not going to get a lot of thunderstorms. It's pretty hard for that. Instability pretty limited. Whoa, my computer was freaking out there for a second. Yeah, at least sells by Orlando. Still not looking particularly exciting. I might have just come all this way just for some dinner, which is fine. We stayed at a hotel over here in International. I forget the exact hotel though. So we're watching Orlando, and we're also watching out west over towards like Tampa to see if anything wants to develop out that way. So far things have been really slow to get going. Come on, car. Go. Go. I'm letting you go. Thank you. You sometimes try to do the right thing and the nice thing to let people go, and sometimes they're just thinking to be so oblivious. That person at least recognized pretty quick what I was doing, so that's good. I think earlier in the street there was somebody I was trying to let them in, and they were just like, nah, I'm going to keep sitting here, bruh. A little water. A little ponding action. Must have rained pretty hard here. Interesting. I'm getting a little deja vu. I don't know why. Unless the hotel I stayed at actually was this way, more towards the left. Actually, yeah, I think it might have been this way. There's like a big theme park that we were like right by, which is, you know, not really a great descriptor because that's like everywhere in Orlando. Oh, I need gas. I was not paying any attention to that. Alright, we'll go Portillo's and gas. We're living the best life. A lot of water here. Where did all this rain come from? I didn't think it rained that much here in Orlando. You know, I probably should. I'm gonna grab gas here. Screw it. We'll grab gas first. Let's see here. Let's take a peek. I really like this storm well south of Orlando. Looking at radar again while I get some gas. So we are up here in Orlando. I'm really liking this cell right here. This continues to kind of meander northward. So maybe we get in line for that. Also really closely watching some of these cells over by Tampa. And look at this cute little guy. Look at all these cute little curly cues all going through. So that is also interesting. Right now we have nothing in our immediate vicinity. But again, I like these popping here, and I like that cell right there. So what we might do is pop down to like Lakeland and kind of see how things develop. The other option is to go east-southeast to this guy. That's got some, you can see all the lightning. It's got some lightning strikes, so it's got some more instability kind of entrained in there. I like the look of this guy right here though. The problem is I need storms to not go north. I need them to go more kind of easterly to tap into some of that better helicity. So that's the situation. I'm torn between a few different options. What we're gonna do is we're gonna eat. We're gonna eat some beautiful, delicious Portillos, and we'll go from there. Let me catch up on chat. Sorry, guys. I've not been to the Sphere. I do want to do that. I go live periodically. Anytime there's severe weather in my area that I have time to chase, I will go after it. And then in the month of May, I usually take a week and a half to chase, so I would usually go live every day for about a week straight. Study meteors. Yeah, you know, I do get that a lot. I do definitely get that a lot. I mean, technically, you know, falling rain and snow, it's hydrometeors, so you're not like that far off. Alright, we're Philip, I guess. Alright. And away we go again. Alright, so I just need to defrost, not defrost, but humid the windshield. What's the word I'm looking for? I'm not defrosting it. Oh my gosh. This word escapes me. What am I talking about? It's when your windshield gets foggy. Defog? Is that the word I'm looking for? That sounds stupid. Is that the right word? It might be the right word. No cars coming. Let it rip. And there we go. Ooh, I kind of slid a bit there. My tires like not great. I just replaced these damn things. To pull up the her here and take a little peek to see how things are looking, trending. And the her's not really handling this super well. It's horribly handling. I'll leave. this was a shower that was coming in that we're in now from the south of Orlando that kind of looked interesting, but really lost a lot of its oomph. So not expecting much to come out of this guy here. The question just is it worth it to go west, southwest or not? That is the question. Naturally, it has to start raining a bunch right as I get to my destination, right? Hello. Everybody? Oh, he's turning? Oh, go. What are you doing? Gosh. I do need nourishment. I need food real bad. Dying here. Hello, how are we doing? Good. I do a double bacon cheeseburger with only lettuce and tomato. Let's do a large fry and a large root beer.
That'll be all?
That's it.
So a double bacon cheeseburger, no mayo, large fry, and large root beer.
Yep.
It's going to be $19.04. You have a great
Good deal. Thank you so much, you too. Ooh-ah. Outside of Chicago, like Portillo's are not, you know, like super insanely busy, which is always like a weird concept to me. Because like in Chicago, I'd have to like wait in line, in a drive-through line or inside for like 5-10 minutes. But here, Portillo's, in and out, real fast. Yeah, no mayonnaise. I ain't a mayo guy. I don't like condiments in general. The thing I like about Florida is that a lot of these like drive-through places and like restaurants have these big overhangs just because rain is such a prevalent problem. It always kind of cracks me up, but like it obviously makes a lot of sense. Oh, we got Case and Fredericks in the house. It's Portillo's time, baby. Good eats in the Orlando. I have not had like any food today, so we dying out here. But we got we're gonna get some food, and then we're gonna see what these stupid little cells do south of me. We had I'll call it a maybe tornado earlier. Solid funnel. Now that was back around what, like 5:38, I think is when that was. 5:38, 5:39. That thing was pretty suspicious. Hard to say for sure. But the environment is only going to get a little bit more ripe for tornadoes. The question is, can we get storms in this environment? Because this looks a lot less exciting than what the HER was showing previously. Can you tell my voice is about dead too? I'm dying out here. Oh man, let's see. I don't know, guys. This does not look real riveting here. Just looking at the radar view, I mean, we got some cells south that are drifting northward. We're up here in Orlando on the west side. I'm may have to give these a little bit more time to mature to see if they're worth going after or not. Right now, I'm not super convinced. This definitely doesn't look as exciting as the HER was showing previously. Speaking of which, let's take a look at HER. Oh, that's unfortunate that we're like blocking it. Hang on, let me shoot. Alright, let me deal with this food situation first. Hello. Thank you very much. Doing alright, how about yourself? Yeah, I feel that. I feel that.
I'm on 5:30, so that's all good.
Heck yeah. We're getting there. I like this nice overhang you got here to get out of the rain. That's super nice.
Yeah, but when it's really bad, that rain gets the wind.
Starts bringing it anyway, yeah.
So that's no good.
Good deal. Thank you so much. Have a good evening. Thank you. We are going to park and we are going to devour this food. This parking lot is kind of crazy. There's kind of a lot happening. Alright. Look at this stunner of a view. Are you kidding me right now? What else could you want in life? This is why people are tuning in. This gets people going. I just realized my GPS location is very wrong. No GPS in use. Huh. Okay. Stand by. No GPS found. Did I break my GPS? Interesting, my GPS doesn't want to seem to work. Okay, hang on. Let me, you're gonna lose picture here for a moment. Interesting. I think my whole computer might be kind of bored here. So now no USB devices want to work. That's interesting. Huh. Well, Hello. Um, well, I broke something, and I don't know what. Either the hub is broken, or the USB port is broken. Huh. Well then. Okay. Well, now it seems no USB device won't work. That includes my microphone. So I think we're going to have to shut down this system, and we're going to try and restart it and see what happens. We will be right